So that was basically a little quick rundown in history of it. You know, there's plenty that you can look up as far as the history of the Sabbath. You know, as far as, you know, secular history, or however you want to call it. But basically, if you look up the right history about it, you're going to find that all the disciples acknowledged it and everything. Why am I spending so much time on this is because, well, quite frankly, this is the one that's always missed. And it's very ironic, again, that it's the only one that says remember. It's not a thou shalt or thou shalt not. It's basically, God is basically saying, remember me for what I have done, for what I have done for you. You know, give Him honor, give Him the glory. You know, you just take a day out of the week where you spend time in prayer, or you go walking outside and you just look around you and just realize that the things that He has created. You know, so basically the latter half of these videos I'm going to concentrate on the commandments. Now the reason why I decided to do the fourth one right now is because basically the 10 commandments are summed up in 2, and it's very interesting. You know, the first commandment is thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, all thy strength, and all thy mind, and that is summed up in the 4th commandment. And the second commandment, which is just as great as the first, is thou shalt love thy neighbor and thyself, and that is summed up in the last 6. You know, because obviously that is dealing with, you know, your fellow man, your brothers, you know, your fellow man, mankind, how we should be towards others, and the examples that we show. So, obviously, okay, John 14:15, if you love me, keep my commandments. Commandments, that's all of them. And that's not 9 minus, or that's not 10 minus 1. You know, that's all 10. There's nothing that's, you know, that is a sacrificial day for the Sabbath day. You know, sacrifices were done away with on the cross. Not the commandments, not the Sabbath day. You know, it was the sacrifices, the animal sacrifices, and all of that. That is what was done at the cross. Jesus fulfilled that. You can read further about that, I believe, in Daniel chapter 9, when it talks about the 70 weeks. In the first 3.5 years, that 70-week prophecy was fulfilled because He became our perfect sacrifice. It's talking about Jesus in that. I'm not too sure on the final 3.5 years. You got some doctors out there saying that it was all fulfilled in that time frame, and it's saying that, you know, the last part of that prophecy was fulfilled when Stephen was stoned and the gospel went to the Gentiles. But then again, you got 3.5 years mentioned over and over again in the book of Revelations. You know, so I kind of tend to lean to the final 3.5 years is for the tribulation period in the book of Revelations. That's what I'm kind of leaning towards. Again, I'm just a simple guy. I'm not going to have all the answers, and I might have said some things that was kind of on the edgy side that might not make sense on these videos. You know, all I'm doing is the best I can to explain things the best that I can, and hopefully be like a starting line to somebody else that wants to research this further. But again, I'm just doing it the best way that I can, and to be all pleased, you know, try to be pleasing to Him as I'm trying to share His word. John 14:15, if you love me, keep my commandments. John 14:21, he that has my commandments and keeps them, he it is that loves me. And he that loves me shall be loved of my Father, and I will love him and will manifest myself to him. That says a lot right there. That really does. Again, he's talking about all the commandments. And blessed are you. Blessed are you that observes his law, his commandments. That's basically what that is saying. That you will be loved of my Father, and I will love him and will manifest myself to him. There's another one, John 15:10. If you keep my commandments, you shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. Jesus followed the same commandments that we are supposed to keep right now. He acknowledged the Sabbath day, and he followed all 9 others. Yeah, he did heal on the Sabbath day, but it's lawful to do well on the Sabbath day. The Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath day. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, I will give you rest. Sabbath means rest. You go to him. Spend quality time with him. You worship him. You're in prayer. You know, fellowship with one another. That's basically what it's all about. You don't have to go to a church and listen to some music and listen to a guy up on a pedestal preach at you. You know, that's not necessary. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I honestly don't believe that's a requirement. I'm going to go to Revelations here. And Revelations 12:17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God, and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. The commandments. That's not all, you know, that's not talking about 9, that's talking about all. I don't know how many more times I'm going to have to say that. Eventually it probably will sink in, and I'm probably going to get a lot of dislikes, but you know, oh well. It's the way it is sometimes, right? In Revelation 14:12, it says, here is the patience of the saints, here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. And then at the very end of the Bible, Revelation 22:14, blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. For without are the dogs, sorcerers, whoremongers, liars, fornicators. And that's in the following verse, I believe. You know, so I'm going to do one more video on this, and hopefully I was able to help some of you that might have this in mind, have this in question. As a problem with the Sabbath day commandment. So in the next video I'll basically kind of discuss with what I'm going to be doing as far as you know, I got some other work that I want to put out for you guys in the midst of doing these 10 commandment things here. And I'll discuss a little bit of that in the next video. Stay tuned.